Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Drakensberg, South Africa's most famous escarpment, where the land doesn't so much escarp as plunge. The specific area is called Champagne Castle, whose towering peaks are the second highest in South Africa. It's truly a big deal, which is why we are using it as a backdrop for another big deal.
Previously we rode the new BMW R1250GS and we said that it was good.
This bike feels good.
But now we have the big daddy of the GS range, the R1250GS Adventure.
On paper, it's a proper piece of kit. Not only does it feature the 1250 engine of the new GS, but it also features a stack of serious add-ons. The travel on the electronic suspension has been increased by 20mm. The tank capacity is an expansive 30 litres. There is scaffolding around the side for when the bike succumbs to gravity, and some pannier scaffolding around the back for if you want to add boot space. Apart from that, it adopts the new LED lights and this rather fetching TFT dash with all sorts of fun graphics that you can look at when you don't feel like concentrating on the road anymore.
And then we have this really nifty little cubbyhole that very nearly fits a mobile phone. But I want to get to the looks of these bikes. I mean, I love the looks of bikes. They tell you what the bike is. For example, the 1290 KTM, it's big and hunched up like an angry motocrosser. It tells you it's great at dirt. The Multistrada Ducati looks angry and slick, like it wants to attack the road. And this is all good because that's exactly what these bikes do. The GS, on the other hand, all GSs, look like calm, gentlemen's travel bikes. And that's good too, because that's exactly what they are.
The GS Adventure feels lower, less intimidating. It's very sort of comfortable and luxurious. I could sit here all day, and effectively when you're adventure riding, that's what you do. But these are all the things the previous GS Adventure did, and did just as well. So what are the advantages of buying this new 1250? I'll tell you what it is. It's all to do with this motor.
That 1250 motor, the same as the one in the standard GS, pushes 136 horsepower. That's a 9% increase on the previous model, which is good. The problem is it's still a long way down on the KTM 1290 and the Ducati Multistrada, and it's on par with the sublime Triumph Tiger. So again, where is the benefit?
To be able to feel the benefit, you need to stop reading bits of paper and climb on board. And it's here that you discover the GS's unique characteristic. You see, those other bikes do make more power, but it's all to do with the way they make power. You see, the horsepower graph for theirs looks like this, which is sort of traditional. Whereas this bike, the graph feels like this. It makes 136 horsepower throughout the rev range. More so, this power is also accompanied by an astonishing 143 Nm of torque. This is all down to a motor that not only features more cc's, but also BMW's new variable valve train. Personally, I don't understand any of this. But here's a complicated bit of animation to give you some confidence that it does work. Oh, and how it works. Okay, let me demonstrate this. I'm going to stick it into dynamic mode. I'm going to turn the traction control off. I'm going to put it in first gear. And I'm going to open the throttle. Watch this. That's a lot of forwardness. That's a lot of forwardness. But this is an adventure, and that means turning off the beaten track. How does this ubiquitous brutality affect its off-road prowess? The thing is, BMW very famously have that broad sort of cylinder that probably has the mass centralization of Saturn. But what it does do is it takes the weight and brings it very low. It makes it very, very nimble to use, especially in the dirt. Not only nimble, but stable at the same time. Also, you've got the Adventure's got extra suspension, so although I'm kind of going a lot now on this dirt road, it really isn't bad. And it's all electronic, all automatic, feels really good. And here's the thing, that motor, I don't know why it has 6 gears. It needs first gear and 6th gear, and that's fine. Just at any revs, you just open the throttle and off it goes. I don't know, I think BMW has a winner here. I really do. Well, they had a winner before. This is just more winninger. Yeah, that's right.
Wow, nice film, wasn't it? Don, I have to say, it looks like you rode the new GS in quite possibly the most perfect place in the world.
I'd say so, definitely.
But is it the most perfect bike in the world?
Very close.
Really?
Really close.
I'm going to enjoy this,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, because this is a dyed-in-the-wool, power is best kind of man, KTM's off-road, blah-de-blah-de-blah. You actually...
Okay, no, hang on,
you didn't like it, but you do respect it, don't you? It has to be respected.
Yeah. Look, okay, the likes of the KTM 1290 are fiery, you know what I mean? They got that fire about it. It's like riding a tiger, whereas the GS, and you're going to go, oh, is sort of makes you the tiger.
Oh, you tiger!
No, I'll tell you what, it's so easy to ride well, if you know what I mean. It's
I
like
do,
you can kind of go, look at me going sideways for nothing, whereas the 1290 is sort of taking you for the ride.
And in terms of technology, I rode this at the world launch in Portugal and rode half of the off-road route without using the ABS system,
Yes.
because obviously I know that you
fool.
turn that off, but you don't. You don't, do you?
fool.
It's the most amazing piece of
It's
technology.
brilliant. I mean, I turned the traction control off because, you know, I mean,
you do.
you know,
Yeah,
yes,
you're an
you
idiot.
do, yes, you do. But the ABS, not once did I ever want to turn it off. It's so brilliant. And because I'm an idiot, I went into a few dirt corners a little bit too fast, and you kind of trail brake in there and think, that's it, I'm dead. But
Well, you were saying that you actually
just-
came across a blind hairpin riding next to someone. You had the ABS on, they didn't.
Well, I had both ABSs on.
Yeah.
I had it in Enduro Pro, which turns off the back ABS. And you know what? We both came to those blind rides. We both thought, right, impending doom. Both grabbed anchors, and I stopped sooner than he did. I actually had to kind of avoid, because I was on the outside, I had to avoid hitting him.
Look, I mean,
Because it's
they have
brilliant.
always been good. I remember on the previous generation, the first of the air-cooled adventures, GS Adventures, and I turned everything off. It was virtually unrideable.
Yeah.
You turn the electronics back on, it's like, thank goodness.
With this one, they've got new, I think it's front brakes. They've got new front brake calipers, and they tar dirt. It works so well. Incredible.
Okay, it's a bit of a love-in at the moment. Unbelievably good bike, we'll admit. But Donovan, in your professional capacity, what irks you? What irritated you?
Okay, there's actually what you pointed out. Yeah, okay, the bike looks different. It does. You put it next to the old GS, you can see differences. But it still looks just like a GS. So, you know, you buy a new 1250, you arrive home, and the neighbor goes, oh, did you get a new color?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's only when you happen to look closely and see that one of the zeros is now a 5. It doesn't shout, but that is typically German. The other thing, that boxer noise. that
Love it
makes,
or loathe it, that's
It's not really characterful.
It's
just
a drone.
It's a drone. It's not pleasant.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the first things I'd do, I'd take that silence off, throw it away, put an aftermarket one. The
Yeah, but
aftermarket
it just
sounds
makes it a
pretty good.
louder drone.
some of them are good,
Yeah,
good sound.
it gives it a
though,
deeper
so,
sound, which is better. I don't know why BMW persists with that.
Okay,
It's
you
horrible.
spent most of your time on the Adventure version, since
Yes.
I'd ridden the normal version. Pricing is obviously key. The
Yes.
standard one, how much is that?
Okay, they
then?
start here in South Africa. We start with a full spec that includes spoked wheels because we're cool. The full spec, which is the lowest we get, is 263. It goes up to the HP one, which is I'm forgetting now. It's to around 270,000 rand. Then you got the Adventure model. It starts at 288. It goes up to 300. So
Okay, so
it's a fair amount of money.
It's not massively different.
No, it's not
between
huge.
the standard and the adventure, but also between
it
the
is a
outgoing
lot when you
models.
consider that a KTM 1290R, you can get a pretty well-spec one for 232.
Yeah, so it is.
Yeah,
it is a
it
bit
is
costly.
rather more. But however, I will say something. Here in South Africa, apparently, like Big Mac burgers, we have the cheapest
Yeah.
GSs in the world.
Yeah.
And apparently overseas, it just is this big luxury good, and you pay for it.
Wow.
So a hearty recommendation for the GS. I just put you on the spot one last time, Don, before you go. You've got the GS and the GS Adventure. Which would you pick?
I'd buy the GS, the standard GS, and I'd put scaffolding on it because I'm going to fall over.
And
Yes.
the big thing about the Adventure version is obviously the massive petrol tank, 30 litres or so,
Yes.
huge range. You wouldn't bother with that?
I'd never use a full 30 litres. I wouldn't. I can't actually ride that long without getting tired and bored and everything. You know what I mean? Also, the other thing for me is the GS Adventure is slightly higher. And I did sort of a little bit fall over kind of once a bit. So I'm sorry about that.
Little leggies.
I think some of the more observant viewers would have noticed that one of my mirrors was loose from some of the shots. Oh, and also it turned on the heated grips, and they work very well.
Oh, do they?
Especially in the middle of summer in KZN.
Fantastic. Okay, well, nice
we
one,
go.
Donovan. Great report. 1250 GS. It is a massive improvement. We will be back after this break with something else.